My name's Bob Foster. I'm with the Hoboken Historical Museum, and it's really good to see the room filled. Obviously, Don would have appreciated that. Let's just give an applause for filling the room. When we were researching our exhibit, Hoboken in the 1970s, there was one person whose work really interested me the most, and it was definitely Don Cotter's. He was someone I got to know a little bit in the 80s, but I can't say I knew him very well, but I felt I got to know him much better from researching, again, the 70s exhibit. And his work with the other side and the back side were kind of genius in a way. He seemed like he really hooked up with people in the community. He felt that the best way was to go directly to the people. He really didn't have the patience to go through a political process, in my mind, to go directly to the people. He really didn't have the patience to go through a political process, in my mind. He just would see a guy in the corner and say, hey, get over here, help me move this, because we're going to build a waterfront park. And I thought that was, the gumption he had was amazing. And I really enjoyed reading about him, and it made me, reflect about him a lot. And I wanted to do something that was a little special. We've never done a remembrance in the museum, and it seemed very fitting connecting with the show. And many times people would talk about, boy, I wish Don could be here. And that came across, so I did remember it. So I met Juan and Georgia during the course of the exhibit, and they had that Don Cotter spirit, and they said, sure, let's do it. Let's have an afternoon. And so as we were planning some of the more formal talks, I wasn't quite sure how this would come off or if people would actually come, but obviously the spirit of Don Cotter is still very much with us. A lot of things that Don envisioned actually did come to fruition. There's a lot of reasons why things happen, but he truly was a visionary for this town, and I think we thank him for that. I know we thank him for that. Today's afternoon is informal, and basically we just were hoping people would say a few words in memory of Don, and we don't have an itinerary of who will be speaking. There are a few people who will start us off, but we would like people to come to the podium and say a few words speaking from the heart. And it seemed like the best person to get us going on this was a gentleman known as Mickey D. And Mickey D is known as the voice of the River City Fair. And when we were putting together a list of people who might attend, he came forward very quickly and said that he would like to do this. So without further ado, let's start our afternoon off with the words of Mickey D.
Thank you, everyone. Also for Bob Foster for putting this together. I tell you, this is truly amazing. I don't live in Hoboken anymore. I'm up in Cold Spring. Took me over 2 hours to get down here, but for Don. But as I was driving down, I said, wow, what a beautiful day. Blue sky, the sun is out. We even have an extra hour of light this day. And a beautiful day when we talk about a beautiful man, Don Cotter. As Bob said, we're going to ask you to come up. We're going to ask you to fill our hearts with your special thoughts, remembrances of Don. And I'll start. It was 1987. I was doing a monthly comedy show at the Beaten Path, which I think is now the Whiskey. Is that correct? And when you did something in Hoboken, what you did was, of course, you put flyers out. You had to get the word out that, hey, I'm doing something. So here it was a couple nights before the fair, and I went down by the fair site, and everybody's getting ready, and of course, in the shadows, I'm putting up my little flyers. And I get a tap on the shoulder and say, hey, what are you doing? And of course, that was my first exposure to Don Cotter. And I tell you, for 5 years, Don allowed me to be the voice of the River City Fair. I loved it. It was the greatest thing in the world. And of course, in the dead of summer in August for 2 days on the Hudson River, what more could you ask for? But as I progressed through the years, I learned from Don what the fair was really about. Yeah, there was music, arts and crafts, foods. What else we had? We had the waiter races. We had the raffles for plants, another great thing we did. But the River City Fair was a message, was a call to the people of Hoboken. Look what you have. Look at the jewel that is the waterfront. And there was a great passion that I learned and took from, and I truly apply myself today. So, truly an honor. And as we said, you know, if you look around, well, the waterfront may not be exactly the way Don had wanted it, but you know that his insight definitely brought it about. And when you think about it, maybe Sinatra Park should be Cotter Park. You know, just a thought. But truly, it's an honor to be here. Again, I was fortunate. You know, it was Don himself that put this together, because I am out of Hoboken 11 years. I am out of touch with everybody. I come down occasionally, but by the way of the internet, somebody found me. I look at this, bing, bang, boom. I am actually here. It's a special time, and I thank you, and I thank Bob for allowing me to MC. But what I like to do instead of my talking is, we've got a lot of people that are friends with Don that have great memories. So instead of me pointing out just some volunteers, if you'd step up by hand, someone's raise their hand. I know we have some comments about Bob. All right, come on up, and we're going to share. Everybody's going to share. I know. Oh, and one thing I will tell you right now, Don is here with us because Darcy and I were already fighting, and he squelched that. So we're good.